What's happening, all you amphibians out there? I'm Duuz-Diz-Din coming at you with another Amphibia episode review. This time it's a quick review of Season two's Episode 7 titled Quarrelers Pass. Let's jump in. As we open up with Spring and Polly doing impressions of each other and just being general pests. And Anne and Hopadiah have had enough of it, as they come across something called Quarrelers Pass, which is another route that leads to the same destination for both of them. Hopadiah, in a rare moment of bad parenting, decides to leave the two of them there to journey on their own for a little while and sort out their differences. And as they come across something called the Beam of Balance, a balancing beam, they end up actually referencing some fun they had in the past in order to get across, with Polly helping Sprig to balance his way across the bridge, which is nice. A little bit of sibling camaraderie. Meanwhile, the growing silence between Anne and Hopadiah leads to Hopadiah asking Anne if she has a boyfriend, and Anne promptly pushing him right off the cart. A very touchy subject, I take it. Meanwhile, Sprig and Polly actually really start to hit it off for the moment, just really teaming up and enjoying the camaraderie that they have. But when they see that the exit has been boarded up, they end up finding this weird other passage. But when they go through it, it ends up getting a little too cramped, and once they start knocking into each other, they start quarreling once again, as siblings do. It's a sibling thing. You're gonna fight with your sibling from time to time. But ultimately, when they reach a fork in the road, they decide to go their separate ways, still kind of angry at each other, only to come across a monster on both sides, honestly. But they end up finding out that this is not just two monsters that they've encountered. No, it is one being with two heads. A very cat dog like situation with two creatures, well, one creature called an ohm, and they're hungry. But as Sprig and Polly manage to weasel their way into a crevasse, they're able to just get out of harm's way. And as the Ohms start to fight amongst themselves, they start to kind of hear a lot of the same arguments they've been having over the past few weeks. And they start to realize why Anne and Hopadiah decide to kind of go their own separate way briefly because, isn't that annoying to hear two people just bicker on the way the two Ohm are doing, the way Sprig and Polly have been doing. So Sprig and Polly decide to work together and use their expert impressionisms to cause the Ohm to fight amongst themselves, which it feels like a out of nowhere skill that they're so good at impressions, but I really hope it comes back up again later down the line. But Sprig and Polly are able to escape. They are once again able to mend their relationship, and they meet back up with Anne and Hopadiah in order to move about their lives. Although Hopadiah really wants to know about Anne's boyfriend. He really wants to talk about this subject. He's not letting this go, thus ending the episode. Nice, brief, fun, and we're moving along. Tell me your thoughts on this episode in the comment section below. So I wasn't originally going to do a double episode review, but since these two episodes were paired together, I figured I'd just tack this on since the previous episode, Quarrelers Pass, was so short, so short of a review, I mean. Figure just put Toadcatcher in here as well. It's my channel, my videos. I can do whatever the hell I want. So, Toadcatcher, episode 7. Let's talk about it because it has Sasha. Gotta love those moments where they actually reference the general overarching plot in a major way. And we see Sasha training up a storm We also get to see that she still is kind of salty about her defeat against our hero, Anne Bonchoy. So she's has some really adverse feelings towards Anne and everything that happened. Meanwhile, we get to see that Grime is actually wanted because of his failure at Toad Tower and abandoning his posts. However, Grime has just been binging TV this entire time while Sasha has been training, not feeling too happy about the fact that Grime isn't really taking his status as a fugitive seriously, as they end up getting attacked by two bounty hunters, apparently, only for Grime to just sit around and not really help Sasha out, with it being revealed that this was actually Percy and Braddock, who were actually trying to get Grime, well, through the coaxing of Sasha. They were trying to get Grime back on his feet and in fighting shape. But Grime doesn't even, you know, take issue with what they did, as he actually just kind of laughs it off. So, the softer approach that Sasha taught him before has actually ended up taking too much of a effect on him at this point. So Sasha ends up sending the two toads into town to get some food, while she has a heart to heart with Grime about what's happened. With Grime just kind of just dismissing everything. With his army having left him and everything that's happened, he's just completely fallen into a state of despair. Meanwhile, we get to see at the nearby town that the great General Yunnan, who is all too willing to introduce herself at every given opportunity to make sure people know her name, is hunting down Grime and is looking for answers. Just asking the townspeople in general, only for Percy and Braddock to come in talking about Grime and basically accidentally revealing where he is located. So she has this epic moment where she just strolls in whistling this eerie tune and she introduces herself. And immediately, I love the way that Grime immediately knows that, oh god, she's a glory hound. She is going to hunt us relentlessly. She is out of her mind. And I really just love this character. She's so much fun. It's pretty cool and just an all around fun character that I hope we see more of in the coming future. But, Sasha and Grime try to make a run for it, but whereas Sasha is very physically fit in this situation, Grime not so much. But Grime kind of calls her out on the fact that all of her training was just a way of ignoring her issue with the fact that Anne stood up to her and the relationship between the two of them has been irreparably changed, probably forever. But ultimately, Sasha comes clean that it wasn't just because of that. It was also because of the fact that she really cares for Grime and sees him as one of her, maybe her only true friend at the end. But then General Yunnan manages to catch up with them, and they have this massive showdown where Grime, decides to finally stand up and fight for his friend. And we have this nice, cool little battle segment ensue. Like, they're really starting to get pretty fun with these fight scenes. I'm glad that they really take their time when it comes to this. And where at first Sasha manages to gain the upper hand, Yunnan manages to turn the tables, only for Grime to try to sneak up behind her, and Sasha manages to play to Yunnan's ego, which distracts her long enough for Grime to push her right off the cliff. And while she does survive the fall, it's obvious she'll be back. But Grime has this newfound sense of purpose and decides that he won't take back the valley for the newts. No, he'll rally an army and head to Newtopium himself and take over. As I don't think it was ever really stated before, but as it turns out, the world of Amphibia is led by the newts. It's Newtopia isn't just this center of knowledge, it is the capital of this land. And the toads are under the newt. But he decides that it should be a toad who runs things. So a nice little bit of purpose for Grime and Sasha. It'll be interesting to see if they're able to raise this army of theirs. Whereas Sasha decides that she'll do her best to once again face off against Anne one more time and settle the score. I'm actually kind of glad that she hasn't taken a turn for the better just yet. I hope that she continues down this antagonistic path because it's interesting if nothing else, and it really just seems to suit her for the most part. I'm just glad that she didn't suddenly become a good person or a better person. She's not a terrible person, but she is someone who just falls into a certain personality range, and she's still continuing to roll with that. And I'm really just kind of happy that that's the direction that they've chosen. But what did you think about this episode? Specifically Sasha's direction, Grimes' direction. What did you think about General Yunan and her JoJo poses? I love those poses. It's hard to forget a character who's just so fun and bombastic. And like Grime called her out, she's a glory hog. So she'll keep pursuing this on her own, much to her own detriment, if nothing else. She'll keep failing because she's not willing to admit that she needs help. So we're ironing that out already. It is very much like a kind of Zuka or Zula kind of stance almost. So it's just like you have the bad guys, but you also have bad guys behind the bad guys and all that. Just a very fun direction for all of this, and I can't wait to see where it goes next. But again, tell me your thoughts and theories in the comment section below. If you like this video, please leave me a like, subscribe, bell, whatever you feel like. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I will see you later. Bye bye.